And right now, in this moment, there's an existential threat. Our democracy is hanging by a thread. Some people would say we're already an authoritarian regime. And I need to see teeth, I need to see fire, and not just me. Many people are...
So much for cooling to rhetoric, huh? I need to see teeth, I need to see fire. Well, Karine Jean-Pierre, it appears you're about to. Memo leaking out, one relating to Executive Order 14339. Investigative reporter Anthony Cabassa bringing a story that has mass implications. Memorandum for all states, territories, and the District of Columbia. Anyone seen this yet? More than likely you haven't, and that's okay. The implications are monstrous. Troop training for potential nationwide civil unrest, and everyone has to be prepared by April 1st, 2026. The NGRF task forces prepared to be deployed within 24 hours. Trump administration to create nation's first ever National Guard response force to begin training troops for nationwide civil unrest, with some troops specializing in chemical, biological, and nuclear scenarios. I wonder what the administration knows. That's what we'll be discussing in just 1 minute. Well, now let's get up to speed on a few stories before we get to our headline story. We discussed yesterday the Trump-Putin summit, and little Zelensky might be joining. Well, it appears that status has now changed.
In the not-too-distant future between the president and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Budapest is not going to happen, nor will the meeting that was supposed to be either tomorrow or Thursday between Secretary of State Rubio and Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. Apparently, the two of them, Rubio and Lavrov, had a phone conversation today. It was said to be a, quote, productive call.
And whatever that means. That theater will continue to generate as we continue to watch it, but updates as I always provide you about everything we've been discussing. Lisa brought you the story yesterday. John Brennan lied to Congress. Today we've referred him to the Department of Justice, and it's about time, because anyone who's been following me knows one of my least favorite people in U.S. government is John O'Brennan, which I say incorrectly on purpose, and we'll continue to watch this as the full and concise referral is here. What did he lie about? Go ahead, put it in the comments below, because Jim Jordan's very specific. It was exchange of information between Mr. Getz and Mr. Brennan. So the fact that the DNC was providing the financing for the Steele dossier's development didn't give you concern that it might be partisan. Oh, you remember. It appears that it's, it should be legit. No, I was not involved in analyzing the dossier at all. I said the first time I actually saw it was after the election, and the CIA was not involved at all with the dossier. You can direct that to the FBI and to others. Were you aware of the FBI's involvement with the dossier? Yes, because there's an annex in the ICA. We also know that he falsely testified when he told the committee that the CIA opposed including the Steele dossier in the ICA. I've proven that to you time and time again. Do you know if the Bureau ever relied on the Steele dossier as part of any court filing, application, petition, or pleading? Mr. Brennan stated, I have no awareness. Did the CIA rely on it? No. Of course, as we now know, it was solely relied on, and it was the basis of the ICA report. So good luck, Mr. Brennan. Have fun with this one. But will anyone actually pay? We'll see. Very quickly today, huge favor. I want you to continue to help me beat this algorithm, because you've done a phenomenal job, and it's why the channel is growing, by making sure your bell is checked all. If you're new here, by subscribing, by joining as a member, by sharing, by commenting. All of that lets the algorithm know this news matters. Have you been to justiceknightgold.com yet? Gold's gone mainstream. You're seeing it everywhere. Prices keep climbing. More Americans are turning to gold to protect their wealth, but how do you take advantage of it? That's where Noble Gold Investments comes in. You're rolling over an old 401k into a gold IRA, the physical coins and bars delivered to your home. Noble Gold makes it simple, safe, stress-free. By simply going to justiceknightgold.com, you see the address right there. Claim your free wealth protection kit. And for every new qualified account, IRA or cash purchase, you get this beautiful 110-ounce silver flag bar and 1 silver American Eagle proof coin. There's more information in the description box below. Remember, there's always a risk to investing. No guarantees, but Noble Gold makes protecting your wealth simple. Go to justiceknightgold.com right now. But now let's get back to this video.
And it's also important for us to note, this is the first time in history that any party has had the audacity to shut down the government over a totally clean, nonpartisan continuing resolution.
Audacity is something that the Democrats will always have, because they frankly just don't seem to care about we the people, nor even those government workers that need to be paid. Here's what Trump had to say about the same.
Because the whole country would be bankrupt and you're not going to have any kind of medical insurance. So with us, it's the opposite. And it's a great bill. We don't need any more. And I want to just say from the beginning, our message has been very simple. We will not be extorted on this crazy plot of theirs.
No extortion by the likes of whom? Chucky Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries. Listen in here when he talks about this clean continued resolution and why he won't vote for it. He calls something a political ploy. Do you know what it is?
My understanding that that is not a comprehensive bill that actually is designed to reopen the government while at the same time addressing the issues that need to be confronted on behalf of the American people, which include lowering the high cost of living and decisively addressing the Republican health care crisis. So it's not legislation that I support, because it appears to be more like a political ploy to pick and choose, giving Donald Trump discretion which employees should be compensated and which employees should not be compensated.
So it is a political ploy to pay federal employees and service members, coming from the mouth of Hakeem Jeffries, and we wonder why.
The bottom line is this. The first shutdown during Trump's first term, 2018-2019, was hurting Donald Trump. This one is not hurting him at all. There's no real reason Donald Trump might say, at least when it comes to popular support, I want to get out of this shutdown. Blame Trump a great deal for that particular shutdown. You come over to this side of the screen, look at this. It's a different world. It's a different world.
Ouch, those are percentages the Democrats don't want to see, because everyone's woken up to what's happening now. The Democrats have lost their way. It's plain and simple, no matter what the mainstream media attempts to paint for you. Although they tried to paint that the No Kings protest, as I've covered for you for the last few days, was a success. But in reality, it just showed that they've lost their culture. No one said it better than this. I want you to listen in here.
They've lost culture. Yeah. I've got 3 boys. Calling someone a Democrat is an insult. Calling someone a Kamala voter is an insult. This is white, black, Asian, Hispanic. Young men across America are over the BS that they saw at this No Kings rally. Look at the dance. These are huge dorks. They have no power. They are losers. No one wants to hang out with them. They're old 1960s protesters who now are on the side that they used to protest against, right? They don't realize that the world has shifted around them, and they are awkward lunatics. And so their last refuge is violence.
And that's the words I wanted you to hear. Their last refuge is violence. Those words should resonate with you. Trump is pushing record after record. His successes aren't stopping, even in the face of a shutdown. Trump's return to the Oval Office since January 20th, the administration's deported over 515,000 illegal aliens. Donald Trump is targeting illegal drug cartels across the world, scaring them into hiding places, stopping drug trafficking. Success after success. Did you know Maduro and his regime are changing mobile phones daily, sleeping in different locations every night because he's keeping everyone on guard? Success after success. The FBI is starting to pick up steam. It takes a little while on these investigations. FBI found more weaponized crime close to Salman command and funding for Antifa, a story that goes silent by most. Patel indicated, that some support may come from overseas enemies and U.S. nonprofit groups that have tax exemptions from the IRS. Look, the thing I can tell you is the money doesn't lie. And the thing we're doing is the FBI is following the money, Patel explained. And thanks to President Trump, we now have Antifa designated rightfully as a domestic terrorist organization, and we have multiple investigations going on right now, but they'll need support, won't they? Because remember what that prior broadcaster stated. Their next refuge is violence. Antifa has always shown a propensity towards violence. Indictments are now falling for an organization, according to Jimmy Kimmel, that doesn't exist, right? But yet this indictment towards members of the Antifa cell just dropped October 15th in the Northern District of Texas by the United States of America against an organization that allegedly doesn't exist. You see, there's progress, but they'll need support, but the Democrats don't support them, right? Keith Ellison, Deputy Chairman of the Democrat National Committee, this put up by Powerline Blog, holding there the Antifa handbook. They don't support him. No, you guys all don't know what you're talking about. I can't see why Trump designated him a domestic terrorist organization, why he's going after their funding. But when he does, and he gets deeper in, he knows that their next move will be violence. I've told you they're looking for a trigger event. They need one event to set everything on fire. And then people become less tolerant of the political landscape. Right now, Trump has success. But if things in the street become anarchy, people will become less tolerant. Those percentages will start to change. Trump wants to keep that under control. And hence, we have a political commentator, Anthony Cabassa, comes out, gets a leaked memorandum for all United States territories and District of Columbia about troops training for potential nationwide civil unrest. It all starts to make sense now, doesn't it? Remember, my news is a little different of a style. It's more of a story, because everything in government is a story. Now, they're basing it on this Executive Order 14339, additional measures to address the crime emergency in District of Columbia, the use of the National Guard within cities across the United States. They were just handed another victory that they can go into Portland. Remember that. I'm going to show you Kristi Noem's statement on it. This memo also directs all NGRF components to be operational no later than April 1st of 2026. Raising the question as to what the federal government believes might be in store for this upcoming spring. Also, before I forget, this is a Substack. If you go to Cabassa, CABASSA.substack.com, subscribe. Amazing job. I always like giving credit where credit's due. Raising a question as to what the federal government believes might be in store for this upcoming spring. Should a state NGRF at unit be activated to respond to mass civil unrest? The goal is to have the entire unit, up to 500 members, be ready to deploy within 24 hours. The current timing is 72. Most National Guardsmen are not currently trained for civil unrest scenarios. Part of this training will be how to respond to violent crowds and proper use of large crowds using batons and non-lethal weapons like tasers and pepper spray. Showing you again the document that this is coming from. Folks, something's going on because this isn't normal operating procedure. Even his source stating this is not normal. It's unusual, since soldiers who are part of a different task force are apparently being reassigned to be part of the NGRF, being specialized troops who've been trained in chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear incident. That's a little bit more concerning. To my knowledge, I've never seen an order like this before, hoping this is only to be a safe and a precaution, and none of this will ever be used in a real use scenario. Level 1 training, Level 2 training, defense readiness. What do you believe the administration is preparing for? What do you believe they know? What do you think they're changing their posture on? It also feels like leadership has intelligence or indications that something more significant could happen between January and May of 2026. Otherwise, they wouldn't be pulling specialized forces into a role they were never meant to fill. Kristi Noem given the authority to use National Guard now. As a victory of the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit ruled that the President of the United States is rightfully using his constitutional authority to direct National Guard to protect federal assets, personnel, and public safety in Portland, Oregon. The victory given. The National Guard can be used. Training, scheduled, be done by April 1st, 2026. Rapid response, 500-member task force. Could this task force have helped minimize and contain the George Floyd summer of love riots? And now with similar protests taking shape, this administration wants to get ahead of potential further violence or help with widespread unrest when state governments fail to defend its citizens? Oh, wait till the left gets a hold of this. See, we told you. Trump's going to take over the election. He's training the National Guard to do it. Just wait for it. The mainstream media will catch up with us about 3 or 4 days from now, maybe 5. Or could the federal government have the intel that indicate a potential outside or global threat that will require trained civil unrest troops to be deployed to major cities to help maintain order? Time will tell. So now I ask you, what do you believe this is for? Domestic unrest? Global unrest? Or something else? Please put it in the comments below. Because it's people like Anthony Cabassa that allow us to find out information like this. There's very few of us left that actually dig deep enough to find the intelligence to bring you ahead of anyone else. It's what we do here and what Anthony does. The informed community. I want you to get to his Substack. Make sure you subscribe, because without people like this, we're always behind the 8 ball. But not here. I love you all. I want you to follow me too, by the way, because we're not done yet. Because I'm going to continue on this podcast now over at restrictedrepublic.com, because if it's worse than Watergate, why this silence? How come when they tap congressional members' phones, all of a sudden it falls out of the headlines almost immediately? It's by far a bigger scandal than Watergate. They spied on those congressional members, but it went silent. Why? It's a story I'm going to cover in the second half of this podcast, again, over at restrictedrepublic.com. Get there, join me today. That is our home news platform. We'd love you to find your home there for all the news that matters. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justice Knight, signing out.